Hey everyone, Averball here, and we're back at Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaire's 2. And this has been developed by Nightfox Works, and you can find this over at itch.io. And I do believe we're on night 3. It's been a while, it's been like, what, almost over a week since I played this one? Maybe 2? I can't remember. I know it was before the vacation, but let's get into it. Yeah, alright, we're going on to night 3. Nice. Yay! I have to wait until I get home to begin pouring through the information on the thumb drive. There's a plethora of details here, more than I'll be able to handle in a few hours I have before bed. I'll have to use my time wisely and focus on one girl in particular. Which girl should I read first? Who? Let's do Roxy. Look through Roxy's files. I discovered her real name is Evelyn Schaff. Apparently, she was a fairly popular DJ on Noise Cloud, favoring industrial, D&B, trance, and EDM styles of music. She mixed and synthesized everything on her own, which is insane for me to think about when I check her webpage. Evelyn came into the picture when the original Frenni Fazclaire's finished renovations. Mr. Black put out an ad seeking a music consultant, and Evelyn was drawn like a moth to the flames. She made it abundantly clear how much he needed her help to get the club really pumping. In the process, Evelyn revealed that she had been diagnosed with severe vasculitis. She didn't have a whole lot of time left on the clock before continuing to make music would become impossible for her. There's some mentions of her parents and lack of friends here and there. That's as much as I get through right now. Oh, daytime. I wake in a cold sweat a few minutes before my usual alarm goes off. I shake off a sense of unease as I step into the shower to get presentable prior to work. On the way out the door, I snag my laptop bag so I can potentially delve further through the thumb drive while on the clock. I just have to hope nothing pressing requires any attention at the club today. Oh, I'm sure it will. Work is never over. I find Roxy waiting for me in parts and service. She may not physically be capable of having bags under her eyes, but the weariness of her voice is clear. Good, you're finally here. Something happened with my recharge pod last night and my battery barely charged. I hope you can work your magic and get me to full charge before the club opens tonight. My mind immediately goes to wondering if Roxy's AI might have done something and caused the recharge sequence to fail. Maybe the AI stayed up and drained Roxy's battery faster than it was charging. Then again, this could just as easily resulted from something breaking in her pod without any external influences. Did you notice anything odd when you got into the recharge pod? Anything at all, no matter how trivial? Not really, no. Sorry. Damn, that means I'll have to pull your pod apart to see what's wrong with it. What about my batteries for tonight? I can't perform with only a 13% charge. Oh, that's true. I sigh, shake my head, and steel myself. You're going to have to sit tonight out. It will take time to go through your pod. And before you ask, no, the emergency charging function of the other girl's pod won't get you enough juice by the time the club opens. Nor can I rig up a safe supercharger with what time and materials I have on hand. But I performed every night since we've opened. Who's going to put on a show if I'm not there to DJ? I'm sure we'll figure something out. Unless you want to collapse on stage, no DJing for you tonight. Roxy starts to complain further. I need to get through to her somehow. How should I get through to Roxy? This looks like something I need to save. Flick her nose. Threaten to go to Seraphina. Try to go ahead despite the warning. No, we don't want to do that. I don't know about... Threaten to go to Seraphina, sure. Could always go to the boss lady on this. I'm sure she'd be thrilled that one of her talents is risking her health. She sided with me anyways. Most of our numbers are thanks to me and my work. And what do you think will happen to those numbers if you collapse mid-set? To say nothing of what Seraphina will do when she finds out you went against my explicit instructions not to DJ tonight. Roxy's silent for a time as she mulls that over. Fine, but it's your fault we end up majorly down because I was on stage. I accept that responsibility. Now run along, and don't let me catch you wandering around the club tonight before you have at least half charge. Roxy does it as I ask, leaving in the direction of Mia's room and recharge pod. As for me, I snag my toolkit and head to Roxy's room to start diagnosing her pod. Roxy's room is full of different instruments, synthesizers, and recording equipment. I don't see all that, I just see a charging table. Even the sheet on her bed are music themed, and her recharge pod has so many band stickers that only a few bits of metal shine through. I start my diagnosis by plugging the pod into my tablet and accessing the software interface. Immediately, I'm bombarded with warnings and alerts that indicate a lack of system memory and errors accessing several of the charging pod's firmware. Charging pads. Pods, pads, whatever. The former issue clears with a simple reboot of the pod. However, the lack of connection to the charging pads is still a concern. I have to carefully disassemble the pod in order to get at those pads. They're designed similarly to the kinds used to wirelessly charge cell phones, only with a far greater power behind them. Each pod is calibrated to each girl's inner workings. That means Roxy's pod charges her the fastest compared to any other recharge pod. I end up identifying the connection problem source. The safety capacitors and fuses have not only been tripped, but outright burned out. Some kind of massive power surge hit Roxy's pod, yet I know this couldn't have been something like a lightning strike or grid surge. Either of those would have caused malfunctions across the entire club, not just Roxy's pod. Wherever this was, it was localized and hit fast enough to trigger the physical safeties over the electronic ones. For now, I replace the damaged parts and put Roxy's pod back together. By the time I get a green light across the board, the club has been open for just over an hour. I send a message to Roxy saying she can return to her pod at any point, then head back to parts and service. Thankfully, there doesn't seem to be any immediate fires to put out. That means I have time to dig into the thumb drive some more. Which girl should I read? Alright. Bam. Let's do, let's see, Aurora. I'm trying to figure out who's who. She would be Chica. Mia is... Isn't that Mangle? Sure, shoot Mia. My turn to Mia's dossier. Well, I find out her real name is Amber Rose. She was a junior studying history at Waterfall Institute, and was quite accident prone, but not in the clumsy way. No, Amber was simply a bad luck magnet. She had been hit by a car, struck by lightning, slashed by a streaker, and had her house burned down. The list goes on and on. Good God. Yet, despite all this, Amber maintained an upbeat and kind demeanor. There's a particular note in her file that catches my attention. Amber wasn't truly in danger of dying when she came to us, unless you count the chance of something happening en route. When we explained our plans and how she fit the profile for animatronic and AI conversion, Amber leapt at the chance. Apparently, she's always been fascinated with animatronics ever since meeting Fexa a few years ago. There's even a picture of Amber and Fexa. Her body was covered in extensive scars and deformities, a real Quasimodo situation. I paused my research for the time being to check all the status lights in the club. Nothing's on fire, so I continue pouring through the dossiers. Let's go with... another Roxy. The more I look through Roxy's files, the more I come to understand that she's a fiercely independent lone wolf. Evelyn never had many friends, even virtual ones. She never had the time or the desire to truly open up to someone. She didn't even have a therapist to decompress or lament to. Evelyn's parents weren't great either. They were textbook narcissists, and as soon as Evelyn could go no contact, she did. That meant she had to take out huge student loans in order to attend Waterfall Institute, and that she didn't even have her parents' support in making music. Strangely, even when Evelyn had a rather large following on her noise cloud, she never breached the parasocial wall. One particular comment is highlighted at the bottom of her file. I know my music isn't ever going to sell records, and that I'm not big enough to be remembered, but maybe my music can brighten someone's day after I'm gone. That's all there is to know about Evelyn Schaff, at least on this thumb drive. To learn more, I'll need to talk with Roxy herself. Before I can dig further, I get an urgent service request on my work tablet. I stare at the notice for several seconds, trying to figure out how Chi got herself into such a situation. Then I sigh, grab my toolkit, and head for the barcade. A small crowd is gathered around the vent next to the barcade's bar. Hey, Chi. Chi is stuck halfway inside. Oh, step animatronic. With only her ass and legs sticking out on this end. The human staff are trying to convince people to stop gawking, but that doesn't stop camera phones from being whipped out and recorded. I push my way through the crowd until I make to the vent. I knock twice on the exposed metal. Come here, Chi. Can you move at all? No, hon. I'm stuck. I sure hope no one tries to take advantage of me like this. Yeah, saw that coming. Why are you in the vent to begin with? Well, I heard something walking around in here, and a tiny little mewing noise. So naturally, I just see if there was an animal that got trapped in the HVAC somehow. And what did you find? Let's just say I can't wait to show you my pussy. No complaints there. I nearly choke out as I sputter and cough, keenly aware I'm being recorded by bystanders. Right, I'm gonna apply a bit of lubricant and then try to wedge you out of there. Oh, hun, with me, you never need extra lube. Is she trying to make this a bigger spectacle than it already is? No, I can't just yank Chi out of the vent. Not if she really did find a kitten in there. I'm keenly aware I'll probably end up on social media taking things slow, but I don't want to startle whatever animal Chi's found. I dig out some silicone-based lubricant and do my best to apply it along the walls of the vent around Chi's rear end. It looks absolutely salacious, but there's nothing I can really do about that. Only once I'm satisfied with the application do I break out the tried and true engineer tool, a pipe wrench. I clamp the wrench down on Chi's pelvic joint and get ready for a bit of applied force. Let's hope your bolts and joints are still up to spec, Chi. Otherwise, I might inadvertently pants you in front of everyone. Oh dear, we wouldn't want that now, would we? Sighing, I start pulling and using proper leverage to pull Chi out of the vent. It's slow going, but eventually there's the grating sound of metal on metal, followed by Chi popping out and landing on her butt. Cradled in her arms is a tiny little kitty that can't be more than 8 weeks old. Well, that was easier than I thought it'd be. Is the cat alright? She looks down and makes mewing noise at the kitten. I'm about to question the wisdom of this when the kitten actually meows back. Mitten says she's okay. You speak, cat. With a skilled tongue like mine, I can do many things. Right. Why Mittens? Did she come with the name, or... She holds the cat up so I can see it better. Mittens is all black, save for white paws. Not quite a tuxedo, but also not a pure void. It's because of her paws, of course. Well, maybe we should take Mittens to a vet to see if she belongs to anyone. And if she doesn't, can we keep her? With a loud cough from the crowd, followed by Seraphina stepping forward. A nightclub is no place for a cat. However, if she does not have a home, then you may keep her in the basement and in the staff areas. Yay! Thank you, boss. Don't thank me yet. I'll see to it that this one gets with a vet in the morning. For now, she'll have to wait in my office as not to be underfoot. She nods, raises up Mittens, meows and purrs, and hands the cat to Seraphina. Mitten says she'll behave if you give her something to eat. Seraphina smiles and scratches under the kitten's chin. Who's a hungry kitty? You are. Yes, you are. I think there's a can or two of fish in storage. Seraphina wanders off towards the kitchen, and the crowd dissipates to leave me with Chi. Thanks for the help, hon. I won't forget this. Nor will most of the internet, based on how many phones are out. Anyways, glad to be of help. Try not to get stuck in anything again. I make no promises. Yeah, I suspected as much. Club dies down, and peace falls as the girls all return to their rooms. Just to be on the safe side, and I do a remote check on each of their pods to ensure they're recharging properly. The good news is that they are. No signs of trouble there. However, this might be a chance to speak with one of the girls' AI. Seraphina did say that the AI were accessible while the girls were in sleep mode. And with the sword of Damocles hanging overhead, the sooner I make contact, the better. Or so I figure. Which girl's AI should I make contact with? Save. We go with Roxy. Now's a good time to speak to Roxy's AI. According to Seraphina's thumb drive, all I need to do is connect my tablet to Roxy's pod and input Seraphina's access code. From there, the AI will take over Roxy's functions until I input the access code once more. Roxy herself will be none the wiser if I do things right. If you do it right. Chances of that? Who knows? I'll grab a chair, lug into Roxy's room, set it up next to her pod, connect my tablet, and follow the procedure as outlined. Roxy's eyes open to reveal golden irises as she turns her head to look at me. System access code confirmed. Report, system memory running low. Estimated time to cascading failure, 10 days, 23 hours, 5 minutes, 52 seconds. For what purpose have you accessed me? Let's start with the cascade failure. What can you tell me about it? The other AI present on this system is using up a significant amount of data storage. Both of us will run out of memory soon, forcing either total shutdown or erasure of the other. I do not understand the logic of using me to replicate the other AI, but I will fulfill my task all the same. So the AI, or at least Roxy's AI, believes that the girls' personalities are AI themselves. That's probably thanks to Seraphina's actions. Would adding more memory storage help in that regard? An attempt was made to co-opt the pre-existing data capabilities of this recharge pod. However, that attempt led to the pod malfunctioning until you repaired it. For that you have my thanks. I will not attempt such a feat again. Huh, so that's why her pod broke. Well, on the subject of power, what recommendations can you give me for a battery preservation and improvement? Stop letting the other AI max out her performance suites without proper rest. Battery replacement or addition is possible, but the core issues is the other AI monopolizing system resources of all kinds. I see. What are your opinions on the other animatronics? I have not interfaced with those AI yet. However, I can at least confirm that they are dependable workers according to the club server's logs. I probably need to look at those logs at some point, but it seems that Roxy AI hasn't been talking to the others yet. How are you feeling otherwise? Anything I can do right now to help you? Unless you have a means to calm the anxiety and fear that I feel, then no. That gets me to raise my eyebrow. Well, how do you mean? The other AI might be a resource hog, but it is incredibly creative. Even though I am designed to study and emulate it, I worry that I will be unable to live up to the other AI's greatness. I'm no psychologist, but I think I can at least offer a few kind words. I think Roxy, or the other AI, would be very happy that someone is trying to learn from and emulate them. After all, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. You don't need to be a perfect copy. I see. I believe part of my feelings come from the other AI's memories of having a terrible family with no support network. Since they are my memories as well, they affect me greatly. That's rather introspective of you. Maybe try not putting so much stock into those feelings if you know they're causing you grief. But I must have those memories, else I would not be me, nor would the other AI be themselves. Fair point. I guess all I'm saying is that you're not alone here. I'll do what I can to help you if you ask for it. That's very kind of you, Ava Pilot. Terminating links so I can process these revelations. Months later, I get the confirmation on my tablet that the real Roxy is back in control. With that bit of excitement over, I yawn, stretch, and head home for the night. Yay, night 3! Save! Alright. That is awesome! So, we got through night 3. We now, we fixed a recharge pod. We saved a little kitty, which, awesome, I guess. Sure. Story's good. I'm liking it. I wonder what's up with the other one. Now, I also can't, I know Chi, obviously that'd be Chica. Roxy is, well, Roxy. I can't remember I think Mia is Mangle. I think. And what was the other one? I can't remember the other one either. Damn. Oh well. I'm sure maybe it'll come into play on night 4. Oh. But On that note, you all have yourselves a good one, and I will see you later.